You're listening to the Sisters in Loss podcast, a faith-based grief and loss podcast for Black women, where you will hear stories of miscarriage, infant loss, stillbirth, and infertility to learn there is a testimony in tragedy. You will learn how to heal, gain clarity, find hope and peace, and turn your pain into your purpose after loss. I'm your host, Erica M. McAfee. Welcome to episode 90 of the Sisters in Loss podcast. March is Pregnancy After Loss Awareness Month. This month, we are discussing pregnancy after loss, but also loss of jobs, marriages, and family members as you grieve the loss of your angel. In today's episode, we have Benita Gordon, who shares her infertility journey due to endometriosis, IVF journey, and grief from divorce. She is a mother in waiting, and Benita shares the other side of grief and how it impacts a marriage in this episode. She shares how endometriosis impacted her ability to conceive, going through 4 rounds of IVF, losing a twin pregnancy, losing her mother, and eventually losing her marriage. This episode is for you to listen to if you ever felt like throwing in the towel with your infertility journey, but want to know what it looks like on the other side of grief, loss, and divorce. Benita is so candid in her story, and I know that her strength and her wisdom will bless you. Here is Benita Gordon.
Well, thank you, Benita, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So I'd like to begin with you sharing a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So my name is Benita Gordon. I am originally from Lawrenceville, Virginia, and I have been a professional educator for 20 years. I am at times considered what they call a turnaround specialist. So I will go into urban school settings who may not be performing as well. And I come in and be a leader in the school building, be a leader on the team, work specifically with middle school. I've been in middle school for the past 17 years. I am what they call a teacher leader. So I'll be on the administrative team, but I'll also still be in the classroom, work on discipline, work on training teachers, and just work on family engagement, and just kind of be the liaison between the administrators and the teachers and the parents, and teach reading, English language arts, and writing all at the same time. Probably sponsor a club here, sponsor a club there, and just try and make sure that our students have the best public education that's possible. I, like every teacher, have 2 side hustles. So I do educational consulting on the side where I work with parents. They're looking for the best fit or the best educational fit for their children. So we may need to look at charter schools. We may need to look at public schools. We need to look at private schools. Most of the children are children with special needs or in special education. And we try and figure out, or they're extremely gifted and the school system is not providing their child with what they need. So we have to figure something else out. And then I work with different school systems, higher education to train teachers. And then my other passion is photography. So I do pictures on the side, baby showers, birthday parties, weddings. Anytime you need some pictures done, family pictures and family portraits. So basically that's what I do. My passion is education. And I'm looking to come out of the classroom. I'm not sure whether I'll just come all the way out. I do not have a passion to be a principal, which is weird, I know. But all teachers don't want to be principals. And all principals were not great teachers. And I have been on this infertility journey, probably longer than I realized, but I will say maybe about 2001 was when we realized that something was wrong, and we started going to the doctor to get it checked out.
Yes, take us back on that journey to motherhood and really go through and tell us about your infertility journey and your diagnosis.
So the more I talk about it, my sister and myself and a couple of my friends, we realized it really goes all the way back to me being in high school. I had terrible cramps, like cramps that couldn't go to school. And if I was at school, I needed to go home. I'm in the bed. It was just unbelievable. I have a high tolerance for pain, but it was just like, I cannot function. No one in my family was like that. My mom wasn't like that. My sister wasn't like that. So they're looking at me like, Benita, we really believe that you're in pain because you like have a high tolerance, like something is going on. We'll go to the doctor. Went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with dysmenorrhea, which is basically you're going to be that, 10% of women who have horrible periods. Deal with it. Didn't think twice about it because this is what the OBGYN, and my OBGYN was a Black woman. So this is what she said. Gave me some Tylenol 800. I charted my cycle so I'll know when I need to take the Tylenol before my cycle starts so it will ease the pain and just try to push through it. In high school was difficult because I was a cheerleader. I was on the dance team. I played tennis. I was active in sports and academics. And so it would kind of like really, pause my life. Didn't want to get on birth control. Wasn't having sex. My parents, we're a Christian family. So my parents were like, we really don't want to go that route. Let's just try and handle it. Managed it. Took my Tylenol. Went on with my life. Didn't think twice about it. Went away to college. And I did get on birth control going away to college, because my OBGYN said that maybe the birth control would help control the pain of my cycles and all of everything that was going with it. That right there should have been a clue that it was endometriosis. But no, nobody thought about it. I never heard of it. So we moved on in my life. Went through college. It got a little bit better. And I will have to say that in college, I ate horribly. I was a size 0. And when you have endometriosis, you learn that there's certain things you should eat and certain things you should not eat. Certain things you should drink, certain things you should not drink. But I didn't know I had endometriosis. So like any college student, my diet was horrible, which made my cycles pain much worse. But I pushed through, no problems, no worries. This is life. This is suck it up, buttercup, and move on. And then met my husband, my then husband. We decided to get married. He was Navy. And so, of course, I get married at 23. So we need to start a family immediately because why not? We're healthy. I'm in shape. I have my degree. I'm teaching. He's, deployed. He's newly enlisted. He's like I think at the time an E3. So yeah, we're not making any money. E3 or E4. And let's start our family because this is what we do. You get married, you start a family because that's what you do. You go to college, you get married, start a family. This is what we do. And nothing happened the first year. Okay, but it's the first year. He's in and out. He's deployed. He's doing workups. He's over here. Not a big problem. But after the first year, we go to my OBGYN. And I'm like, I'm not pregnant. Like, what's up? Like, what's the problem? And he's like, let's run a series of tests. Let's see what's going on. And in the midst of that, he has duty on the ship. I'm at home and I am in so much pain. I have to call my neighbor and say to her, I need you to come over here. I think at the time I thought I was having an ectopic pregnancy. I need you to come get me because I feel like I'm dying. And I tell everybody it was nothing but the Lord because he literally, after I hung up with her, I tried to call the ship, like an emergency number, couldn't get through. And then he literally walked through the door of our house and I'm on the floor, like crawling around him in so much pain. It's just crazy. So same time he arrives, my next door neighbor, she's coming over. They help me get dressed, put me in the car, and take me to the Navy hospital. It wasn't an ectopic pregnancy, but it was a cyst that had ruptured on my ovary. I don't know. They're speaking foreign language to me. I don't know what you're talking about. A cyst? How does a cyst get on my ovary? Like I'm just in what? And so I have to follow up with my OBGYN in 2 days. They give me medicine. They send me home. So when I get to my OBGYN, I follow up with him and he's like, well, let me go in and see what's going on. So we schedule that and I go to work the day before they schedule it. And I feel like crap. I get to work. My principal at that time, I was teaching in the Newport News and he would greet us at the door. He looked at me, he said, you look like crap. I was like, I feel like crap. I thought I had the flu. I got upstairs, started teaching, and I was like, I can't do this. Called my then husband and was like, I need you to come get me. I need to go to the doctor. And he was like, and I was like, I just need to go home. And then going to the doctor the next day. Went home, went to the doctor the next day. My parents met us at the outpatient. They took me in. Now we're just going in to look through my fallopian tubes, shoot the dye through, see if they're open or not, check my ovary, check my uterus. I wake up 3 hours later in the back of an ambulance because I have stage 4 endometriosis and my appendix was leaking. And this is why I felt horrible because the toxins were being released back into my bloodstream, back into my body. And I felt like I had the flu. And my endometriosis that we did not know I had caused lesions and adhesions and had basically taken my urethra, uterus, bladder, stomach, small intestines, large intestines, and appendix and had made it one big mass. So we went from let's shoot some dye through your fallopian tubes to see why you're not getting pregnant to my OBGYN saving my life, giving me a C-section cut and removing my appendix, immediately putting me on the medicine I need to be on, throwing me into the back of an ambulance. My mom and my then husband jumping in their cars and meeting me at the hospital where I proceeded to stay for 10 days because my organs did not wake back up. And it took a minute and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And they're trying to treat the adhesions and they're trying to do this. So I ended up going from outpatient to emergency surgery in an outpatient facility where they had to call and bring surgeons over from the hospital to help my OBGYN, who is now out of his league, finish operating on me. That was the first time we heard of endometriosis. I didn't know what endometriosis was. I was like, is this an STD? Like, what is happening? I didn't sleep around. I'm a good girl. Like, what is really going on? And that was our first introduction to endometriosis and infertility. I'm a Black girl from the South. There is no one that talked to us or mentioned to us that you might have problems conceiving. You might have to do different methods. You might have to go to a fertility clinic. I don't even know what a fertility clinic is until I'm introduced to it, until I have a conversation with the doctor. We got everything cleared up. They actually gave us the green light. Try and start having kids once you're healed. And it went from bad to worse. Like after that, we went back to the OBGYN. They put me on Lupron. If nobody's ever been on Lupron, hot flashes are real. It's like you really feel like you're going through menopause. The inside of your body gets hot. It is not. It's like it was crazy. I didn't like it because anytime I feel like I can't control, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I didn't do drugs, I need to be controlled of what's going on. They put me on Lupron, they put me on birth control pills for 6 months, 3 to 6 months to figure out and regulate everything. And then we proceeded to start trying to have a baby again. It wasn't working. We got orders to go overseas. We're excited. We're going to Spain. Everything's going to be good. In Spain, they tell you 3 things happen. You either get a divorce, you get a debt, or you have some babies. We're gonna get out of debt. We're not gonna get a divorce, and we're gonna have some babies in the name of Jesus. Amen. So we go to Spain. We get to Spain. We are in Spain 3 months, and I feel horrible. I feel like I was like, oh my gosh, this is another ectopic pregnancy. We need to go back to the hospital here in Spain on the base. What is going on? And we get there and they look at me and say, we think you have ovarian cancer. We're going to fly you back to the United States. Newlyweds. We've been married maybe 2 years. And I can't believe this is happening to me. Jesus, where are you? This is some craziness. So we get flown back to the United States to Portsmouth Naval Hospital. And it is the night before our third wedding anniversary. And I'm doing my workups. They're going to do surgery. They've decided to go in, remove a fallopian tube, and if necessary, remove an ovary. They cannot tell whether it's cancerous or not until they get in. Something is wrong, though. So I'm like, this is my third anniversary. It's like tomorrow. I don't understand what you're saying. We're doing the workups. And then for some strange reason, somebody calls the infertility specialist in, who proceeds to tell us that we will not be able to conceive children unless we do in vitro. And he's going through this whole thing, but we're not comprehending. Like, it's too much for me. Like, you're coming at me, first you need to take this out, and I'm doing this you're drawing blood for me, and then you're talking to me. So at the time, my then husband's like, no, everybody out, unless you need drawing blood, yes. Whatever else workup she needs to do, we'll be back the day after tomorrow for her surgery. Everybody else get out. And he kicked everybody else except the nurse and our regular doctor, who was the surgeon, who was going to do the surgery. And it was just a nightmare. Like, I felt like I was going down this rabbit hole. And this man just came in and told me that I wouldn't be able to have children. And who is he talking to? Like, I don't know him. Who sent for him? All of this is going through my mind. We go out, try and have a good anniversary. The next day I come back. 2 days later I come back and we have the surgery. So in the surgery, it is 2004 now. The end of 2003 going to 2004. We have the surgery and they remove a left fallopian tube and a left ovary. Thank God it is not cancerous, but my endometriosis adhesions had come back and basically wrapped themselves around this fallopian tube and ovary to the point where they were like, we just needed to remove it anyway. It was no saving it. It was nothing else. We needed to take it out. Okay, take it out. We're going back to Spain because this is where we have to go. I get myself together, I go back to Spain, and we proceed to live life and get ready to do in vitro. Yes, in vitro. That's like a whole nother chapter in my book of life. In vitro, IVF is a process that you have to be physically ready, mentally ready, emotionally ready, and spiritually ready. And everybody's journey is different. Everybody's process is different. Everybody's medicine is different. Everybody receives it differently. Your body handles it differently. I've had friends who did IVF one time. They got pregnant. Praise God, healthy baby, and we move on. Or healthy babies. I've had friends that did in vitro 10 times. Some of them have babies. Some of them still don't have babies. We did 2 rounds of in vitro overseas, which is not the same thing as 2 rounds of in vitro in America. Overseas is different just because we're used to different standards and different things. Not that it's any worse or any better. Oh, I am a woman who has to watch you give me a shot and you have to count to 3. I have to watch you draw blood for me. You have to count to 3. And I turned into a woman who was giving myself up to 8 shots a day, timing it, making sure it was at the right time, taking my temperature. You would have seen my thighs and my arms and thought, this chick is on drugs. I made friends with the doctors and nurses in the ER on base because there were days that I just could not get myself to give myself the shot. And I knew when I woke up that morning, I'm just not going to be able to do it. And I would just walk over on base or I would drive over to ER and they would do it for me. My best friend is Colombian. She spoke Spanish. She would go translate. So every IVF appointment I had at a fertility doctor, because overseas with the military, you go to the local fertility specialist. She would come and translate. First round of in vitro, I was like, this is going to work. Like, I don't understand. And I'm sorry, let me back up. We did 1 round of in vitro at New Hope in Virginia Beach, and it did not work. Then we went to Spain. We did a 2nd round. It didn't work. But my faith in the Lord is strong, and I know Jesus. He is my friend. And we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we love the Lord. And he is going to bless us because he said he would. So at this point, my faith is not shaken. It's not stirred. It is strong and mighty. God said he was going to bless us with twins. We have these names picked out. We bought a van. We're going to buy this van, and we're going to prepare for these children. Okay, the first in vitro didn't work. Got you. We wait the amount of time you have to wait. I think for us, it was like 2 months. Start over again. Get another loan from Navy Federal so we can do this in vitro. And there is nothing in my being that was like, we're going to have these babies. We're going to get pregnant with these babies. I'm going to be a mom and let's do this. And we did the 2nd round of in vitro. We went shopping. We bought baby clothes. We were excited. We were ready. And they were there. And then they were gone. And I'll never forget because my then husband, I was throwing him a surprise birthday party. My best friend that lived there had helped me plan it. And we had a doctor's appointment that morning. And that was the morning we went back and they said, we don't know. It's like you absorb them into yourself. And I remember looking at them and I remember walking out of this fertility clinic in a foreign country to the van. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said more than that, but I'm going to say here, you got to be kidding me, Jesus. And we go back to the house and we get ourselves together because we still have this party. Like, can't cancel this party. So we go to the party. It's his birthday. We have the birthday party. And I go home and I lose it. Like, I can't even describe in words how I lose it to the point where my then husband calls my group of friends that live there in Spain and is like, come get her. Like, you have to come over here. You got to get out of the bed. You got to get her to eat. I lost it. I went into a depressive state, just lost it. Like, where are you, God? How can you be doing this to me? You told me, you promised me. I don't understand. It took me about 3 months to get myself together, to get back to Benita. It's taken me all this time to not be angry with the Lord. We got orders. We got ourselves together. We came back to America. We're going to do this in vitro till we had these babies. So whenever you do in vitro, you try and give yourself how many times are we going to do in vitro? So we said 5. So mind you, we had 1 before we left. We did 2 in Spain. We come back, we do another one. In between him doing workups. Workups mean he goes out for 2 weeks, he comes home. He goes out for 3 weeks, he comes home. He goes out for a month, he comes home. I need you. I need the other half of him. So we do another round of in vitro. We take out another loan. I use my flexible spending plan from teaching. I teach Saturday school, and we're just making it happen. Because all I've ever wanted to be was married, a wife, and a stay-at-home mom. Like, yes, I went to college. Yes, I have a degree. I have, I know how to run businesses. This is what I feel like I'm called to do, like to be a wife and to be a stay-at-home mom and to be a mom. Like, I'm going to be a good mom. It should not take all of this, but it has. And okay, Lord, you just, we're going to work through this. And we do another round in vitro at New Hope again in Virginia Beach, Dr. Poe Ziegler. And okay, we see something. All right, they're in there. They're attaching. Okay, your blood test comes back. It's looking good. This HSG, LMNOP, whatever it is high, which, normally means there's a baby. There's some babies there. And, when you're doing in vitro, you go back every week, every 2 weeks. And 4 weeks later, we go back and I'm excited and we haven't told anybody because, you don't tell anybody after you've been through this fertility journey. You don't even tell them you're doing in vitro anymore. You just don't, because it's hard to let other people down. It's enough that you're let down. It's hard to let future grandparents or future aunts and uncles down again. So you don't tell anybody. And we went back and they were gone. It literally, they were like, your body absorbed them. I don't know what that means. I never Googled it. I just looked at my doctor at the time, who looked at me, who was crying. She's like, I don't know what's going on. And the nurses were crying. And it was just, and I remember she said, sometimes God reminds me that I'm not in control. And I looked at her with my quick tongue stuff and said, you and Jesus need to go over there to that corner and get my money back. Because you told me if I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then there would be some babies over here. And they're not. And I want my money back. I want a full refund. Well, of course, that's not really how in vitro works. We weren't on that plan. There's a plan. There's some plans that are like that. And we walked out, not pregnant again. And I called my mom. My mom and dad came down. And it just was not, it didn't happen. And there are no words that I can say to describe it, how you feel betrayed by your body, because your body has a disease, endometriosis, but we can't figure out why your body has this disease. My mother does not have endometriosis. My sister does not have endometriosis. I have one aunt, but she married my uncle. They do not have any children, so she is not a biological aunt. And people in my family have no problem having children. We can't figure out what is going on. At this time, my sister now has 1. My brother has 1. And I'm the middle child, and I have no children, and we can't figure out what's going on. And I have lost faith. Me and Jesus, or me with Jesus, towards Jesus, we are just not on the same page because I cannot figure out what he is doing. In the process of that, life goes on, and my marriage slowly begins to deteriorate. I will say that in vitro has something to do with it, and infertility has something to do with it, but I also believe that people have free will, and my ex-husband made choices that were not conducive to our marriage covenant. So I tried to stay in as long as we could. In the middle of that, my mother got sick and died of cancer. Was diagnosed, and then 6 months later, my mother was gone. And now I'm nursing. I've lost my mother, one of my best friends, my best friend, and she will never see my grandchildren. She will never see her grandchildren. She won't be in the delivery room with me like she was for my brother's girlfriend and for my sister. At that time, my sister now had 3 kids, and my brother still has 1. And she was also in there with my little cousin. And I feel robbed, and I feel cheated, and I am mad and angry. And I work through that. And that is kind of where my quest for infertility treatment or fertility treatment paused. I deal with that. I handle that. We relocate. The next year, I leave my ex-husband. I relocate again. And now I am here where I am now. And I am almost 10 years older. And looking back, I am much stronger. My best friend, who I've known since I was 2 years old, is a mother of 2 who I did not realize it at the time, but when you're a woman dealing with fertility, you're not just dealing with it yourself. Your friends who are very close to you that you share with, just the vent. You're not necessarily looking for them to understand because they don't, and they tell you that. But I can call and vent, and they just listen. When they become pregnant, it becomes a struggle for them to share their happiness, even though they know that you're going to be happy with them, but they know that you're in a struggle yourself. And so it was very important for me to remind my friends that this is my cross. This is whatever this is, it is mine. This fertility journey, this struggle to become a mom, this whatever you want to call it, is mine. So in the midst of that, I started working with Resolve, and I started working with some different organizations for fertility because I realized that when I, as a Black woman, said to someone, "Oh, Benita, why don't you have kids? You're a teacher. You'll be a great mom." And I say to them, "I have some fertility problems," or "I have endometriosis." They looked at me as if they didn't know. And I remember one of my friends say, "Isn't that endometriosis? That's white women. Why we don't get that?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's not true because I have it. And I know a lot of Black women who have endometriosis, does statistically, and has gotten better over the past 10 years. But statistically, it was believed to be just a white woman's disease. So when Black women or minority women would come in and say, "I am cramping, this is the problem," they would diagnose us with dysmenorrhea instead of really searching and running tests and really looking into a Black woman's problem and doing the research and doing the testing to see if we have endometriosis. It was never offered to me. It was never spoken about until my other OBGYN said, "Well, let me go through your fallopian tubes." Even he had never said, "Oh, you might have endometriosis." Was never thought about. Fibroids is different. And minority women are diagnosed with fibroids quicker. But endometriosis is on the other side of the fertility line, and it is not as quickly diagnosed, and it's difficult to diagnose endometriosis. You can't look at me. You can't give me a pelvic exam. You have to use instruments that go inside and scan and look, and you have to do different things, different types of tests. You can't just, it's different. And so normally you have to keep pushing and saying and being honest with the doctor. And everybody's endometriosis is different. Some women don't even know they have endometriosis until they have a baby. Some women, endometriosis doesn't affect their fertility. My endometriosis just caused terrible cramps, and then it affected my fertility. So I think there are different levels, and we always have to, one, get a second opinion. I went to a different OBGYN. This is still bothering me. We're trying to have a family. One OBGYN was like, "Oh, just give it time." But I already knew that in a year we should have been pregnant. Like, I already knew, like my mom was like, you need to go see another doctor. And I went and saw another doctor, and he was able to diagnose, he was able to save my life. He was able to diagnose me with endometriosis. There are different stages of endometriosis. I have no idea, even to this day, how or why I progressed, or if there is a progression for stages of endometriosis is not the same as stages of cancer where you can have a stage 1 and then it goes to stage 2. Endometriosis, normally when you get it, that's the stage you're in and you stay in that stage, which is amazing. They cannot say it's hereditary because it's not. They cannot say if you're from this part of Africa, you get it. If you're from this part of South America, Central America, you get it, because you do not. I have met Asian women. I have met literally all types of ethnicities that have endometriosis. So if you don't know what endometriosis is, hopefully you've been Googling while I've been talking. And it is literally the lining of our uterus that should be in the uterus. Some of the lining somehow gets out of the uterus and is in our pelvic cavity. But everything you know in your body is wired together. So when your cycle comes on and your uterus automatically knows to shed the lining, and that's what your period is, the lining that's outside of your uterus wall does the same thing, but it sheds into your pelvic cavity, which causes the adhesions, which causes a lot of problems. So how do you fix that? We don't really know yet. So as a Black woman who is on this fertility journey, I have researched how to eat right, how to exercise, what type of birth control is the best. They have me on continuous birth control, which is a low birth control. When I say low, it is a low hormonal percentages in the birth control. So I take them continuously. Continuous birth control is you take the 3 rows of active, you skip the last row of inactive because that's the row that causes your cycle to come on, and you go to a new pack. And you do that so you can control the pain of endometriosis. I do not like unnatural stuff. For me doing it in vitro and taking all those shots and all those pills, and I'm not really understanding what I'm injecting into my body. My body's doing weird stuff. That was like not okay with me. But I realized that this is what I needed to do if I want to become a mom for me, for my journey. And I'm still on that journey. I do have to say that my then husband at the time, he and I divorced in 2013. And it was difficult for me to go back to the Lord and say, oh, am I supposed to just drop this dream of being a mom, or how's this going to work? I was in a long-term relationship. We decided to try it. We went to the doctor. And then at that point, I was not emotionally ready to do in vitro. I can say that I am now. I think some of it is my age. I'm now 42. I am at that age where I'm like looking, and I am like, okay, I kind of still want a child. And I do have to say this disclaimer. My mother was adopted. I have aunts and uncles that were adopted. But I do want people to stop telling me that I should just adopt. If you've never gone through fertility issues or concerns, and you have your own biological children, or you have decided, and you and the Lord and your partner, your husband or wife have said, adoption is for us, then that is for you. That has not been placed on my heart yet. I have been praying and fasting about it. That is not the answer the Lord has given me. So please be very careful how you speak to people when they are dealing with it, or you don't even know what's going on about why they don't have children, or, oh my gosh, you don't have kids yet. And now I'm very frank with people. And I'm like, so I've had 4 miscarriages and I've lost 2 sets of twins, and I've done 4 rounds of in vitro, and I've spent over $60,000. So if you would like to go to Jesus and get my money back, if you would like to carry this baby for me, let me know. And then that kind of shuts them up. 1, because I'm just petty like that, because I'm old enough to be petty like that now. And 2, people are so insensitive. And I want people to realize what they're saying, because you don't know the story. Like, I've had a friend who had just had a miscarriage. She took some days off from work. She came back to work. I knew, because she came to talk to me, because she knew I had a miscarriage before. And they said, oh my God, when are you guys going to start having a baby? Not knowing that she had just miscarried a baby a week before. And it just broke her down again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys have to be quiet. Stop being in people's business. If you are a woman of faith, if you're a woman, I'm going to start there. If you are a woman, this rocks you to your core, because you feel your body has betrayed you, and you cannot, with endometriosis or any type of fertility issue, figure out why you. And so you begin to backtrack every step you've taken in your life, everything you've done in your life. Where did you think you went wrong? And I have a blog, and one of my blog entries literally says, I think God hates me. And you go through this period of when you are like, I'm being punished. But I want you to know that you're not being punished. And God truly loves you. And that this is your journey and this is your cross. And in the midst of this, you have to find your why. And I say that because I have a girlfriend who said to me, one, Jesus gives you the right girlfriends. He doesn't give me any friends that sugarcoat stuff. They have to come raw and direct. And she said to me, do you want to be a mother or do you want to be pregnant? That hurt my feelings. I hung up with her. I was like, all right, girl, gotta go. She's a mom. She has 2 kids. Both of her boys are born preemies, but they are healthy and they are fine. And I was like, girl, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'll talk to you later. And it hurt my feelings, but it was the truth. And I had to literally sit in that for a couple of days before I could even write down in my journal whether I wanted to answer or not. And my answer today, Sunday, November 18th, 2018, is I want to be a mom. That's all I got. I want to be a mom and I want to carry my own child and I want to give birth to my own children. And there's nothing. I have prayed for the Lord to take it away. Like, if this is, if you don't want me to be a mom, just take it away. Like, leave me alone with it. Let me travel the world and drink Mountain Dew and be happy. But he hasn't. And so when I see a baby, I get excited. When my friends are having babies, I'm like, yes, I get to go shopping for baby stuff. And they know I kind of have to set a budget because I go overboard. And my nieces and nephews, I love on them, even though they're older now and teenagers and preteens and young men. And my friends' babies, I love on them because I still want to be a mom. And my fertility struggles and my fertility diagnosis threw me completely a loop. And how do you be a Christian woman and be like, my name is not Hannah. My name is Benita. My name is not Sarah. No, I'm not any of those women. Thank you for the story. Thank you for speaking to me. And, thank you for reminding me that she had a baby when she was 100, but I'm 42 and it's 2018. And I really do not want to have a baby at 100. I would make Oprah come back out of retirement. So my fertility journey is not over. My testimony is not finished, but I still will praise the Lord. And I will still be excited and rejoice with those who rejoice and cry with those who cry. And I will continue to put my money in the bank in my in vitro account, in vitro savings account. And I will have to say that I am in a relationship now that is ending, and we know it is, and we're okay with it. And I will be single again and still want to be a mom and may have to do this infertility journey again by myself and just my family. And that's okay because it is. It just is. It's okay. There's something I have above my bed on my dresser, and it says, just the way you thought it was going to work out, it may not work out like that. And you need to be okay with it. And I need to be okay with that. I started saying that I'm a Black female from Lawrenceville, Virginia, who comes from a Christian family, who was raised that you go to college, you get married, and you have a family. I got 2 out of the 3. Well, I got a divorce. I don't know if that counts or not. But my parents didn't make me have to pay back for my wedding. So I'll keep that checkbox there and just wait for who the Lord sends me next as my husband. And I won't give up. I won't. I know it in my heart that I'm supposed to be a mom and I'm supposed to be pregnant and I'm supposed to deliver my own child. And he or she is part of me and my genetic makeup. And that's not to discourage anybody else, because remember I said our processes may be the same, but our journeys are different. So what I say to you and to all of us who listen to this podcast, where we are dealing with loss and fertility and infertility and family and the holidays that are coming up, know who you are, understand your journey, and carry your own cross. That's all.
Join me and my sisters-in-law in the DMV on Saturday, April 13th, 2019 at 11 a.m. at Busboys and Poets Tacoma at our annual Sisters-in-Law brunch. While dining on traditional brunch classics and mimosas, our sisters will enjoy a powerful keynote speaker, a live podcast panel discussion featuring 3 local organizational founders, where we'll be discussing the topics of maternal and infant mortality outcomes for Black women and supporting Black women through miscarriage, pregnancy loss, and infertility. There will be fellowship, swag bags, and so much more. To secure your ticket, go to sistersinlawsbrunch.com. Once again, that is sistersinlawsbrunch.com. I cannot wait to see all my sisters in the DMV on Saturday, April 13th. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I pray that this show was inspirational and a blessing to you. For show notes, visit ericamcafee.com/podcast. Please join us in our offline discussions in our private Facebook group by going to sistersinlaws.com. If you're listening in Apple Podcasts, please rate and subscribe to us and leave us a 5-star review. I pray that you all have a blessed week. Keep the faith, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday.